Ladies and gentlemen, may I ask everyone who is standing, if there is an assigned seat, if you would take your seats, please. He arrives inside of the ceremonial area, then we will begin. Good evening and welcome to the opening ceremony of Expo Jamaica 2025. This is the place where Jamaican excellence in manufacturing, export, and business innovation takes center stage to begin our proceedings. With pride, as always, please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem of Jamaica, performed by the incredibly talented Maria Myrie.
Eternal Father, we love Jamaica, 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 land we love.
You may be seated. Thank you so very much, Maria, for that beautiful rendition. I don't know about you, but when I am singing, that's how it sounds in my ear. I think I sound like Maria. But thank you so very much. Let me introduce myself. I am Stacey Ann Smith, your host for this evening's program. Really privileged to be sharing this space this afternoon, this evening, for this celebration of Jamaican excellence. And with a voice like that, it is really good to have Maria demonstrating that excellence to begin with. We are beyond thrilled to have you here this evening. And can I ask you to give yourselves a round of applause for your patience? Thank you so very much for being here with us and for sticking and staying for this kickoff of what is going to be an incredible journey over the next few days. This is, after all, the largest trade show in the English-speaking Caribbean, and we are delighted to have with us this evening some very distinguished guests who I have to acknowledge, of course. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Good evening to you, sir. Senator the Honorable Aubin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Let me also acknowledge the presence of ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps. President of the JMEA, Mr. Sidney Thwaites. Yes, you can clap them. Please, go ahead. Executive Director of the JMEA, Ms. Kamisha Blake, and of course, the President of JAMPRO, Shulette Cox. And extra special, Shulette brought her chairing committee with her. I love that. I love the energy. And an extra special welcome to our sponsors, exhibitors, manufacturers, exporters. Applaud, applaud, service providers. Everyone in this room who helped to make this event possible, and of course, members of the media. Expo Jamaica 2025 is the biggest trade show in the English-speaking Caribbean, propelling local industries globally, driving economic growth, investment, and trade, while connecting businesses to key markets. This year's theme, Global Partnership, Local Impact, advancing Jamaica's reach, is more than just words. It's our mission. By collaborating internationally, we're opening new markets, attracting investment and creating opportunities, while ensuring that growth strengthens our local industries, our workforce, and communities. Now, if that is not worth celebrating, I don't know what is. Another round of applause for this amazing platform that is Expo Jamaica. And this year, Expo Jamaica is bringing together over 240 exhibitors, all proudly showcasing the very best of brand Jamaica. And I want you to give a round of applause to the Expo Jamaica Planning Committee. They have worked tirelessly over the last several months. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you in this room knows what it takes to put on an event. Even a small one involves a lot of moving parts and stress and problems. Right, Mr. Morgan, sleepless nights sometimes, not true? Oh, he says, no, I don't do that sleepless nights. Because he has a wonderful team that keeps it all together and really, really doing very, very well. Well, let me now invite to share greetings. This Expo Jamaica wouldn't be possible without two powerhouse organizations, the JMEA and JAMPRO, working tirelessly to bring this event to life. And at this time, we will hear from our key leaders. First of all, please welcome Mr. Aswad Morgan, Chairman of Expo Jamaica, and he will be followed by Ms. Shulette Cox, President of JAMPRO. A round of applause for Mr. Morgan. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So the MC trying to set me up about sleepless nights. I don't know if she knows what business I'm in. She won't get me to say yes. When I woke up this morning to the bright lights, I wasn't very happy. When I saw the lights come on this evening, it was a different story. Thank you, Madam MC. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Aswad Morgan, Chairman of the Expo Jamaica 2025 Planning Committee. Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. Andrew Holness, welcome. Minister Aubin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, all other protocols observed. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the official opening ceremony of Expo Jamaica 2025, the largest and most dynamic trade show in the English-speaking Caribbean. Tonight, we gather at the threshold of a new era of growth and innovation, marking a significant milestone in our journey to elevate Jamaica's manufacturing and export sectors. Since our relaunch in 2004, Expo Jamaica has grown exponentially, reflecting the vision and resilience of our nation. Today, we stand proud with over 240 booth spaces, more than 800 buyers from all around the world registered for this show, and an expected attendance of over 20,000 people at this event this year. Thank you. This is not just a trade show, it's a testament to Jamaica's potential and a beacon for global partnerships. Our theme, Global Partnerships, Local Impact, Advancing Jamaica's Reach, encapsulates our mission to foster meaningful connections that drive export-led growth. I extend my gratitude to JAMPRO for their tireless efforts in securing a record number of buyers, to the Board of Directors of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, and their very strong sense of responsibility and purpose, and to our esteemed sponsors for their continued support. As an extra special, if there's such a word, Jamaicanly Expo welcome to our many local and international buyers that are here visiting with us Please give them a round of applause. They could be somewhere else today. We trust that you'll find our exhibits, our products on show, our service and hosting to be world class. Our security team will not allow you to leave without proof that you've placed orders with us today. So you may have to remove those buyer's badges. You're always the first on our agenda in every meeting, every single solitary meeting, because you're that important to us. To our exhibitors, policymakers, and sponsors again, I invite you to join us in shaping this vision. Together, we can create a brighter future for Jamaica, one that is built on principles of resilience, innovation, and global connectivity. Special thanks to the hardest working team in show business, the Expo Jamaica Organizing Committee. You've done us proud again. Guys, the 13 or 14 months of planning we just did only started today. Sorry for you, we have 4 more days to go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Expo Jamaica 2025. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you, Jumper Squad. Let me recognize Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Senator the Honorable Aubin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Mr. Delano Seavright, Minister of State in the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Anthony Hilton, Opposition Spokesperson on Industry, Investment and Global Logistics, Sidney Thwaites, President of the JMEA, Kamisha Blake, Executive Director of the JMEA, and Aswad Morgan, Chair of Expo Jamaica Organizing Committee. Specially invited guests including heads of government agencies and private sector organizations and companies, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I also want a very special shout out and recognition to the hard-working teams of the JMEA and the JAMPRO for day 1 of Expo Jamaica 2025. When it comes to Expo Jamaica, as the export promotion agency of this government, JAMPRO had one job: get buyers. In 2023, we set ourselves a target of 500, and we brought in 700 plus buyers. It's a mark of a truly remarkable organization when I didn't even have to tell my team that the target had now moved. And so for 2025, the team set a target for themselves of 700 buyers. I stand here proud today to say that as at 5 o'clock today, we have registered 884 buyers. Of that amount, we have 355 international buyers from 25 countries. And when I heard my team mention countries such as Oman, Macedonia, Peru, I know that we had gotten the job done. Importantly, we also, of that number, had 214 buyers that have never come to Expo Jamaica before. And 92 of that number are international. They took a plane, they fought to get rooms in Kingston, and they're here. And so, with all that said, to the exhibitors here, I will say that this showing presents a tremendous opportunity for you to create new relationships and cement or expand others. I want you to see the showing here and the efforts of both JMEA and JAMPRO as an agency of the government of Jamaica through the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce as an investment in your business. It's not an investment that looks like the one that DBJ can give you, but it is an investment nevertheless. And so starting today and into tomorrow, we encourage you to engage, to connect, and ultimately to export and grow. And from there, as you grow, invest more right back into your companies and in Jamaica. And throughout it all, know without a doubt that JAMPRO is here to support you throughout your journey. To our buyers, I am sure that my minister and the Prime Minister will explain to you why now more than ever, Jamaica is the right place to bring your business. Yesterday, we had a buyer's welcome reception, and we had a couple of takeaways that it's worth all the buyers hearing. I heard Coran Sylvester from the Shipping Association give a commitment that over the next 2 days, you make the order and the Shipping Association and its memberships will ensure that you get your goods into market. We heard our manufacturers talk about the fact that there is no challenge that they and their buyer, through deepened relationships, cannot overcome. And you saw the resilience of Jamaicans in our prime today. That was just an example, a little showing that we don't give up very easily. And finally, we spoke last night about the commitment of the government of Jamaica to making sure that exporters in Jamaica have the platforms, have the support systems to get their goods and the services into your hands wherever you are. And for me, that is a combination that is ripe for success, your success. And so, that said, I want to welcome you to this huge opportunity for both our exhibitors and our buyers. And I invite you to take advantage of that opportunity over the next few days. And ultimately, wherever you find a little time, make sure that you get to see a little bit of Jamaica while you're here. Thank you.
$880, a new record of the number of buyers. Isn't that absolutely amazing? And such great news. Yes, it deserves another round of applause. I mean, as Ms. Cox talked about hotel rooms, and the spin-off of this kind of activity is just amazing. As we talk about hotels, let me just acknowledge properly the presence of Senator Delano Seabright, State Minister in the Ministry of Tourism, and also the presence of the opposition spokesman on industry, Mr. Anthony Hilton. I was going to say KC, but that KC is for the institution at North Street. Indeed, indeed. Next, we're going to hear from another true champion of Jamaican industry, investment, and economic development. Someone who's passionate about expanding Jamaica's reach on the global stage. Please help me welcome Senator the Honorable Aubin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment, and Commerce.
Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, and the Prime Minister who leads arguably the best cabinet this country has ever had. Absolutely true. Absolutely true, and I think I can judge that. High Commissioners, Ambassadors, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Mr. Anthony Hilton, Leader of the Opposition Business in the House of Parliament, and the Shadow Minister of Industry Investment and Global Logistics. Sometimes he comes out of the shadow and talks to me through the press when we talk back. Good to see you, Tony. His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Andrew Swaby, Chairman of the Kingston St. Andrew Municipal Council and Mayor of Kingston. Mr. Sidney Thwaites, who is the President of Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, should be very proud this evening of this wonderful expo that you and your team, all your Deputy President and Vice Presidents have done. Miss Kamisha Blake, who I know haven't been sleeping now. Aswad didn't tell you why he can't admit that he has sleepless nights. He's the biggest, one of the biggest manufacturers of mattresses and beds in the country. He could never say, I don't sleep. So he couldn't admit it. But Kamisha can. Kamisha has had to admit that she has had sleepless nights in getting something of this size and magnitude done every 2 years to be at the quality and caliber that it is today. Give Aswad, the team, a round of applause. Heads of agencies, starting off with Shulette Cox. Shulette, whose team works so closely with Aswad to make this a reality. Shulette is one of 20, she heads one of 20 agencies in my ministry. Consumer Affairs, the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, Companies Office of Jamaica, Trade Board, all of them. They're here to make sure business is done better and more easily in Jamaica. So to Shulette and to the JAMPRO team that have worked to put this together, and all my 20 agencies, a round of applause, please, for the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. This year we didn't sponsor, but our agencies are in. When we came out of COVID in 2023, we stepped up. I had to get the Prime Minister's permission, because ministries are not supposed to sponsor these things. We stepped up because pandemic only happens once every 100 years, and sponsored it, and then we exceeded the target. And this year you heard what Shulette said. Esteemed members of organizing committees of the JMEA, local and international buyers, local and international buyers. I met some last night. I met another group today. We are just very, very pleased as Jamaicans to host you in our country for this wonderful event. We're very happy to have you here. Friends of Jamaica, media practitioners, distinguished, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The MC said 880. Shulette said 884. My speechwriter got the figures at 5 o'clock. So I'm saying 884 buyers from 25 countries, North America, Europe, Latin America. I know Shulette picked out Oman because I lived there for 11 years. Asia and the Caribbean are here today at the JMEA Jamaica Expo 2025. Isn't that simply amazing? 884 buyers in Jamaica to buy Jamaican goods and services. This is a record for a Jamaica Expo, and we're very happy to have that record. They came to buy authentic Jamaican-made products and to explore opportunities for new networking and strategic partnerships and investments. They came because they heard and know that Jamaica has what Jamaica has to offer, and we welcome all our friends to Jamaica. I'm pleased to be here today as the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's business ministry, but also as someone who stands shoulder to shoulder with every Jamaican entrepreneur, every Jamaican manufacturer, every Jamaican business owner, and every hard-working Jamaican employee who is ready to take their products and service overseas to make Jamaica a richer country. I'm here with you. This Expo is Jamaica's open invitation to the world. We're positioning ourselves as an investment destination for financial services, logistics, skilled labor, high-value services, and premium products. The Andrew Holness administration has made it our mission to make Jamaica a very attractive place in this region in which to do business. Our macroeconomic numbers tell a clear story. The Prime Minister will tell you more of it, but I'll just mention this Andrew Holness administration, of which I'm a proud member, has presented no new taxes for 10 consecutive budgets. 10 consecutive budgets. I challenge any one of you, I don't care where you come from, any one of you, I challenge you to find a non-oil producing emerging market country that has been through a pandemic, that has come once in 100 years, been through exogenous shocks like hurricane one after the other last year, and you can find them, any one of those countries with no oil to produce, that can produce 10 consecutive no new taxes budget. You show me them. I want to clap. Not because I did it, but because we did it. We Jamaicans did it under the leadership of Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Yes, we took our debt to GDP from 147, 10, 12 years ago, down to 68.7 and going down to 66. All through that time, when we didn't raise any taxes, we didn't go in to borrow additional money and couldn't pay it back. We, in fact, because we cut taxes 3 or 4 times, the government revenues rose, and we were able to spend 100 billion Jamaican dollars we didn't plan to spend in the pandemic. Come through all that, no new taxes. Spent $275 million to put that perimeter road around Montego Bay. For more own money, no new taxes. And our debt to GDP keeps going down because we're paying off that debt. This is an outstanding achievement, and the country in the Caribbean where everybody must come. I just came from Chile. We talked to some of the biggest investors in Chile. They are looking to come to Jamaica in May. Today I spoke to another set of investors from the Caribbean, one of the biggest conglomerate in the Caribbean. They say, we wish our country could be managed like Jamaica. And right across the world, Jamaica stands out no longer as a basket case as we were 10 years or 12 years ago, but today as the poster child as to how you run an economy and take it from abject poverty and debt to a place where our debt to GDP is at the level it is, and our net international reserve is as strong as it is. We believe that we have to make sure we find new markets. The world has changed. Even yesterday it changed some more. But you know, in the past 18 months or so, I've taken business people, Tony, my friend, business people to 10 different countries, 14 different cities. Only 3 were traditional, United States, Canada, and the UK. We took the last trip I made with business people, and they pay their fares. I took 73 to Guyana in one time, another 61 another time, and they pay their fares, only 5 or 6 government people. So when you got the numbers for the expenses, so how low it was, Tony, you couldn't even say anything, not true. So now that we're in a place where trading and tariffs are different, we have been preparing the road for our own people. Now our business people know where to go, and we're going to make sure they go to new markets because the world is changing and Jamaica is ready. We're very happy to see that this Andrew Holness administration is making and doing business in Jamaica easier and more efficient and more effective than ever before. Through Digital Jamaica, we're embedding technology into the DNA of our economy. Every single day the Prime Minister gets up and says, we have to digitize. We have to make sure we do that digital transformation. And now he's brought back our ambassador from Washington, that very good businesswoman who made a business and sold it for a big thing and go to Washington, did an outstanding job to represent Jamaica in the United States. Ambassador Audrey Marks is back to make sure she handles that digitization and fixing Jamaica's economy to be a lot more efficient than it has ever been. Your business success will drive Jamaica's success. We believe in that, and that's why we work so hard with you. The buyers are here. The demand is real. They, like the business people I take with me overseas, they pay their own tickets and hotel fares. They're here. We Jamaicans must rise to the occasion. Don't worry, ever take them for granted. Just like we don't take our tourists for granted. Thank you, Delan and Minister Bartlett, for the tremendous work that you guys do to keep our economy afloat. We don't take our tourists for granted. We won't take our buyers for granted. We are happy that they're here, and we're going to make sure they have a great time. And we won't lock them up, Aswad, but they must buy. We must manufacture more and manufacture better. If we want Jamaica to be a rich country where everyone succeeds, we must boost our productivity. Do more with what you have. That's the basic, non-formal economic definition of increased productivity. Where everyone succeeds, we must boost our productivity, increase our profits, and begin profits. Companies can't survive and expand and employ more people and pay them better unless they make profits. So this minister, out of the government of Andrew Holness administration, is big on profits. Grow our service sector. We must grow our service sector and export more. Today, we're focusing on export of products and some services. In time, our services sector will grow a lot more. New legal ecosystem around Jamaica's International Financial Services Authority. Ricky Davis is here, who heads that. We're doing segregated accounts and partnerships, general and limited partnerships, so the financial services can come here. I tell you something. Forbes just published the 10 richest countries by GDP per capita. Top of the line is Luxembourg. Luxembourg doesn't have the landmass of China, Russia, or the United States, and certainly not the population of China. Small country in Europe. We're focusing, Luxembourg was number one with $154,000 US per capita. That means everybody in Luxembourg is worth $154,000. Number two was Singapore. Number three, if it was an independent country, would be Bermuda. They are $125,000 US per capita GDP. British Virgin Islands, Turks and Caicos. You know what? Luxembourg, Bermuda, Turks and Caicos, BVI have? They sell services. Expensive financial services, which is why, working with the Cabinet and the Prime Minister and Parliament, we have moved the Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, get them the legal ecosystem. We have one piece of legislation left, Ricky. We're almost there. To make sure it is where all those people, most of those people who work in Bermuda and Turks and Caicos and BVI, many of them are Jamaicans. We want them back home. Build our service sector, expensive service sector, so that Bruce Boyne, who is now Jamaican-Canadian, yeah, it's the other way around, Canadian-Jamaican, yes, Canadian first, is now can see and tell his friends in Canada, come to Jamaica and do your financial services here. That's where we're looking to grow. I invite all entrepreneurs, business people, buyers, resellers, industrial leaders to join in this noble effort to cement our political independence with robust and sustained economic independence. Our friends from overseas have and will continue to help us. But it is we Jamaicans who must secure our own economic independence. That is my idea of sustained development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Expo Jamaica 2025 in Jamaica. And we're happy to have you help us build that robust economic independence that will cement our political independence. And thank you.
Brings together hundreds of Jamaican businesses.
Expo Jamaica is a perfect example of what happens when vision and purpose meet strategic partnerships.
Expo Jamaica is more than an exhibition. It is a platform for connection, collaboration, and transformation. It is where ideas take shape, where partnerships are forged, and where brand Jamaica shines on the world stage.
Expo Jamaica isn't just about business, it's about celebrating who we are as Jamaicans and what we're capable of achieving when we work together.
This prestigious event is a testament to the strength, innovation and resilience of Jamaica's business community.
Expo Jamaica provides a unique space where aspiring entrepreneurs can connect with industry leaders, fostering collaboration that strengthens the business community.
Expo Jamaica is an important event that brings together the best of Jamaican innovation, entrepreneurship, and industry. The ultimate stage for showcasing the very best of Jamaican-made goods and service.
Expo 2025 is a reminder that every innovation, every export, and every collaboration has the power to shape a better future for our people.
Let us come together to make the JMEA Expo 2025 an unforgettable celebration of collaboration, innovation, and excellence that sets new standards for years to come.
We wish you a rewarding and successful Expo Jamaica 2025.
Applause for our amazing sponsors. We also want to recognize some other sponsors who also greatly helped to make Expo Jamaica 2025 a reality. Jamaica Customs Agency, Mayberry, Hart NSTA Trust, that's right, the Best Dressed Chicken, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, Fosrich, Total Tools Rental and Electrical Supplies Limited, Rainforest, the Trade Board Limited, JP Logistics Services, Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, Visa, Crescent Digital, National Baking Company, Mothers Enterprises, J. Ray and Nephew, Red Stripe, Knutsford Express, and Hieroglyphics. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all our sponsors. It is the time of evening when we invite Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, to come forward as our keynote speaker. Under his leadership, Jamaica has made remarkable strides in economic resilience, investment, and global trade expansion. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, ONPC MP, Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Senator Hill, let me thank you for the maintenance of the protocol order. I am aware, that you have been waiting for some time. And therefore, distinguished guests, members of the diplomatic corps, industry leaders, honored exhibitors and buyers, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I didn't hear you. Good evening. Still didn't hear you, but it gives me great pleasure and pride to open Expo 2025. This event has grown tremendously, now standing as the largest trade exhibition in the English-speaking Caribbean. An extraordinary testament to our nation's entrepreneurial spirit, ingenuity, and ambition. Expo Jamaica exemplifies how far Jamaica has come. Over 250 exhibitors showcasing more than 5,000 products and services, alongside 884, did I get it right? Because my speech was written at about 2 o'clock today. 884 registered local and international buyers from 25 countries. And this clearly reflects Jamaica's growing global influence and appeal. The theme, global partnerships, local impact, advancing Jamaica's reach, resonates deeply with my government's vision for inclusive and resilient growth. Our journey towards economic stability has been profound. Jamaica today boasts its strongest economy since independence. Today I had a courtesy call from a group, a church group. The demographics was representative of Jamaica. And we had a general discussion about how the Jamaican economy has progressed through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And someone, a 46-year-old gentleman, pointed out to me, he said, "Prime Minister, you know, I did not know the economic history of Jamaica. And therefore, it is very difficult for me to compare how well the economy is doing relative to its past. For me, I expect this." That was essentially his perspective. But to his literal elder in the church, he could point out and agree without hesitating, applause, or fear of any contradiction that this is the best economy Jamaica has had since its independence. And it is important that we tell the story of Jamaica's economic success over and over and over again, because there are generations of Jamaicans who don't know it and who could take it for granted. And therefore, all the ministers have been directed that they must speak to achievements. As I survey the audience, there are many who probably don't appreciate the achievement, dismiss it. There are those who say the achievements don't reconcile with my own lived experience. But the lived experience doesn't change immediately. You have to reconcile that with the lived experience of those who went before you. And so, whenever any minister of the government speaks, they must place the achievements in context. Because we live in a world where you are provided, literally bombarded with information without context. You will notice that Minister Hill was at pains to say the Andrew Holness-led administration. And it is for a reason. I will explain that more anon as I return to my script. But whether you measure Jamaica's economic performance and stability by the unemployment rate, the inflation rate, the debt to GDP ratio, or net international reserves, by every critical metric, our economy undeniably demonstrates economic stability and resilience. And I want you to cement those two words in your consciousness: stability and resilience. There is a third word that we need to cement in our consciousness as we gather here to celebrate manufacturing and production in Jamaica. And that third word is growth. Growth. Our mission is clear. And I suspect it would also be the mission of my very good friend Tony, my political neighbor in terms of constituency. It is a national mission. We must shift gears towards sustained growth. For Jamaica to realize its fullest potential, our growth rate must accelerate from 1 to 2% towards a more ambitious target of 4 to 5%. Central to achieving this are initiatives which this government has launched, and we call them Aspire. That is our comprehensive growth strategy. Access and inclusivity form the bedrock of Aspire. Economic growth, for it to be meaningful, must include every Jamaican. So I want to assure those who are in the audience and those who may be listening that whatever this government does as it relates to achieving growth, it will not be growth for some or a trickle down of the benefits of growth. This government will be instrumental, deliberate, ensuring that the economy grows, that sectors and industries grow, but more importantly, that your household, of which you are the finance minister, the education minister, the transportation minister, your household, that your household also grows. That is a commitment that the government gives as we pursue growth, inclusivity, and equity. So, a sign of inclusive growth, of an economy that is on this track of inclusivity, is that the economy generates employment. And we can all be proud as Jamaicans that we have an economy where the unemployment rate is at 3.5%, the lowest in the history of Jamaica, the lowest. Now, Tony, I know the retort is going to be, well, most of it is low-paying jobs. One is infinitely greater than zero. And before you get to the top, you must put your foot on the first rung. and then rungs after that. I don't want anyone to tell me about low-paying job when under their stewardship, unemployment was double-digit and we were not having our feet firmly placed on the rung of employment. Yes, we acknowledge the pay is not what we would want, but you're not going to wish high-paying jobs. Don't materialize by a wish. It comes by efforts like these. And the conversation that I have to keep having with the Jamaican people is that we have to be practical about our development. We have to be realistic. And the old notions, many of which are false and proven to be so, cannot help us. So yes, all of us want better pay and better salaries, but nobody wants to discuss productivity. There's just this disconnection between better pay and better salary and better jobs and the notion of producing more. Let me be clear. Better pay and better salary without productivity equals inflation. So for the demographic that is below 40, 30s, and 20s, who have grown accustomed to stability, mild movement in prices, stable dollar, stable interest rate, who may take for granted stability, I wish to remind you that you cannot get to growth without stability. Now, a robust economy requires safety and security. Indeed, you can't grow your economy if there is insecurity. And that has been a challenge for Jamaica for the last 4 decades, if not more. But certainly within the last 3 decades, crime and violence, insecurity has been a challenge to our economy. We could be growing at 5% or more were it not for the impact of the security issues that we face. We have achieved today a remarkable reduction in crime as indexed by the murder rate. We are 35% fewer murders today than today last year. And there are those who will say, I still don't feel safe. And that might be the case. There is always a lag when it comes to these matters of security. The lap-up surveys are always a paradox. When you ask people, have you ever been a victim of crime? Have you seen crime in your community? The percentage is usually a very high no. But then when you ask, what's your greatest concern? Crime. And that's because fear imagined is as real as fear experienced. And so if every day you're fed a diet of fear, whether or not you experience it or imagine it, it is going to have that impact on your outlook and your perception. And so as the administration, we cannot give in to the proclivity and tendency to accentuate the negatives only. The administration must, ad nausea, to boring you at times, present the facts and the reality. because I read quite curiously in today's paper an article which said politicians should take no credit for the reduction in murders. Yet, the Andrew Holness-led administration was unmercifully battered the poor Minister of National Security when the numbers were going in the wrong direction. We must be careful of this urge that we have inside us to make government look ineffectual. It is of no benefit to anyone to have ineffective government. It is a government that you elect, that has administered your affairs, so that we can have revenues to make the largest allocations in the national security budget, develop the policies, select the leaders, and give guidance to the police and the military to have the impact that we are having now. It didn't happen without the instrumental, deliberate, and direct policy of the government. I know I'm saying things that are jarring, even confronting, but I must, because the risk of leaving it to your own devices could be dangerous. Yes, so the Andrew Holness-led administration is presiding over a 35% reduction year on year. We presided over a 19% reduction last year and a 7% reduction the year before. And we intend to drive this down to below the regional average of 16 per 100,000 based on the murder rate. Now, can you imagine a Jamaica where that is now a new reality? My job is to see things as they are, to be very practical. But it doesn't stop me from being aspirational. Aspire. I dream, but only when I'm sleeping. Otherwise, I'm visioning with my eyes open. And my vision for Jamaica is that you will be able to sleep with your windows and doors open. And I don't take it back. It's aspirational, and we must have ambition to make Jamaica a peaceful country, which is our destiny and our future. We are significantly strengthening our infrastructure. Historic investments in roads, highways, water systems, wastewater management, all of these are already having an impact on productivity. Minister Hill may have mentioned a few. There are some that you may not know of. Listen to this one. In the year I was born, the Prime Minister that I was named in honor of, Michael Manley. So my name should have been Michael Andrew. And they do sometimes make that error when they are introducing me. Yeah, but my mother insisted on Andrew, so I'm Andrew Michael. Then Prime Minister Michael Manley recognized the importance of the Pedro Plains in St. Elizabeth, an important farming area, but one that lacks sustainable, accessible, and reliable irrigation. So almost 50 years ago, a commitment was made to irrigate the Pedro Plains. Why didn't it happen? many dalliances, excursions, missteps did not give us the economy to be able to deliver on many of these. So for my 40-year-olds and younger, another context that you should appreciate. Well, our ambitious $30 billion Pedro Plains irrigation scheme is underway and will provide critical water resources for over 5,000 farmers, ensuring agricultural stability and food security, reducing price volatility and oversupply cycles caused by drought and storm recovery patterns. This is an investment in infrastructure that is going to have a profound impact on our agribusiness and agro-processing sector in Jamaica. That's how we get to growth. But between now and the 3 or 4 years that it will take to actually dig the wells, make the pipe connections, survey lands, and all the other things that go into it, there is a gap. But I want you to know that the investment has begun. The fulfillment of a promise that could not have been fulfilled, a mere wish 50 years ago, we are now able to bring it to fruition. Do not take for granted economic stability and good economic management. Recognizing our rich agricultural potential, we have invested $6.3 billion into renovating research stations, including bodles to support innovative farming techniques and collaboration with global agricultural leaders such as India. Further initiatives like the Essex Valley Agricultural Development Project, which is already underway, and the Southern Plains Agricultural Development Project, already underway, have already benefited thousands of farmers, significantly boosting our agricultural productivity. To further unlock productivity, our government recognizes that reducing bureaucracy is no longer optional, it is imperative. And everyone in here, I'm certain, my under 40s and my over 40s, will agree that Jamaica is moving from a democracy to a bureaucracy. It is a reality. We are moving from a democracy where people who are elected make decisions to a bureaucracy where unelected people, without exercise of discretion, without being committed to growth, make decisions for everyone. Jamaica is not the only country that is grappling with that. Other countries are. So, not to be confused with Doge. That is why we have launched the streamlining process for efficiency and economic development, SPEED. And this initiative will be led by Senator Marks. Through SPEED, we are systematically eliminating unnecessary regulations, reducing administrative delays, and simplifying processes across government services, from motor vehicle registration to business licensing to development approvals. We will look at every single business process in government and determine whether or not it makes sense and remove it. I want you to appreciate this. The national budget is always taken up by various line items to effect steps and systems and processes that are not necessarily delivering results. And so, there are those who will say, but why are you blaming technocrats and bureaucrats and so forth? You are the government, you set the rules. I accept that. And that is why we're going to change the rules. To make them make sense. To make them serve the people. To make them support growth. So, a part of the SPEED initiative is the integration of technology. We must not fear technology. We must embrace technology. The technological revolutions that have happened in the past 200 years would have left Jamaica behind. We must not be left behind in the current technological revolution. I say to my manufacturers and all the people involved in production, embrace artificial intelligence. It is the greatest multiplier of productivity that we are going to see in this century. Make sure that you are on the cutting edge of embracing artificial intelligence. So we are accelerating the digitalization and transformation of Jamaica through our national broadband network. We have already started by connecting several schools and courthouses and local authorities, and that continues. Now, for those of you who are in business and about to make investments in new plants and construction, we have, under the Accelerated Capital Allowance Initiative, don't know if you've been paying attention, if you heard my presentation. Businesses investing in productive assets between now and December 2026 will benefit from unprecedented tax advantages, significantly reducing costs and stimulating investments in buildings, plant, machinery, and technology. I urge you, if you are thinking about doing your investment in 5 years' time, bring it forward and take advantage of the incentives that we have given. We are also raising the annual turnover threshold for MSMEs to register for GCT from 10 million to 15 million. That should take a lot of pressure off a lot of businesses. On Tuesday, the Minister of Finance announced the extension of the tax amnesty. I have never received so many calls as I did, being petitioned, because people saw the benefit of it. It helps. And so today, I'm announcing the extension of the NHT Employer Arrears Amnesty Program from April 1 to May 31st, 2025. This extension provides employers in the micro, small, and medium enterprise business sector and charitable organizations with a valuable window to regularize their accounts and benefit from the waiver of penalties, interests, and arrears. On arrears. Under the extension, qualifying employers are offered a 100% waiver on interest, and this will go up to arrears up to March 31st, 2025. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the heart of Jamaica's long-term economic resilience lies economic diversification, and that is the E in our Aspire growth strategy. By broadening our economic base, we enhance resilience against global shocks and create new, sustainable opportunities for employment and wealth creation. Expo Jamaica 2025 embodies this vision, highlighting diverse sectors from manufacturing, agriculture, technology, logistics, finance, and tourism. Jamaican manufacturers and exporters gathered here today are pivotal to this diversification journey. Platforms such as the Jamaica Emerging Manufacturers and Services Village provide critical exposure to micro and small enterprises in sectors like castor oil, nutraceuticals, aromatherapy, beauty products, and bamboo goods, reflecting precisely the diversified growth that we would want to see. I am looking forward to visiting the tech village and other areas to see the offerings that are there. But there is a matter which I'm sure many of you are eager to hear the government's response. While we can celebrate the promise of our economic expansion and diversification, we must also remain alert and responsive to evolving global trade dynamics that may affect our exporters and manufacturers. The recent announcement by the United States government of a 10% baseline tariff on imports from all countries set to take effect on April 5th, 2025, introduces a significant shift in global trade policy, one that could impact Jamaica's market access to our largest trading partner. Jamaica, like other CARICOM nations, have traded with the U.S. under the Caribbean Basin Initiative, the CBIs. Many of you would know about the CBI, which provides non-reciprocal duty-free access for a wide range of products to the U.S. market. Today, nearly 90% of Jamaican exports to the United States enter under these preferential terms. However, the new U.S. tariff regime, rooted in a broader policy of reciprocal trade balancing, has raised serious concerns about the future of these preferential arrangements. While the government of Jamaica has not yet received formal notification on the precise implementation procedures, including whether these new tariffs will override existing CBI provisions, we are actively engaging with the United States Trade Representative and other relevant authorities to seek urgent clarification. We are also conducting a detailed technical assessment in collaboration with relevant ministries and agencies to fully understand the scope of these tariffs and their implications for Jamaica's trade and industrial policy. It is important to emphasize that these developments do not reflect any erosion in the long-standing and strong bilateral relationship between Jamaica and the United States. Rather, it reflects a broader recalibration of U.S. trade policy that is global in scope. Still, we will use every available diplomatic channel, including working with our CARICOM brothers and sisters and utilizing the Office of Trade Negotiations to seek to preserve the positions our exporters have secured over decades of deepening trade ties with the United States. Preliminary analysis indicates that some of our top exports may fall under exempted product categories, and we are working to confirm and, where possible, to expand these exemptions. Again, I must emphasize that clarity is still needed on several matters. Furthermore, there may also be opportunities to be found, and we must therefore be proactive and prospective. So to our manufacturers and exporters, we understand the uncertainty this announcement has created, and we are with you every step of the way. You are not only integral to our economic strategy, you are national champions of our resilience and ingenuity. The government will continue to advocate on your behalf and ensure that your interests are protected in any new global trade architecture. I will wrap those statements in my own comments. Jamaica has pursued a very strategic foreign policy in the same way we have pursued very strategic economic policies. If it is one thing that you can be certain of for a small, open economy like Jamaica, is that we will have shocks, exogenous shocks, things that happen outside of and beyond our control. In the past, we used to say it is other people's fault. In the past, we used to hope that good friendships will come to our rescue. In the past, there are those who believe the world owed us something. That is not my stance, and I have not run this government in that way. We must be prepared for shocks, and we must be resilient. We must be able to absorb the hit and recover. And we must put ourselves in a position to always be welcomed at the table to negotiate. And where we have our truths and strong positions, we must speak them clearly without fear to authority and powers. And we do it without bombast, hysterics, and hyperbole. And we get the job done. As we have for the last 9 years at the helm of this country, carrying Jamaica through the worst pandemic, the worst global shocks as a result of the pandemic, through a hurricane followed by a tropical storm, all kinds of shocks. And what used to take us 30 years and 17 years to recover, we recover momentarily. So for those who take this for granted and would wish to diminish it and believe that there is something else, let me urge you to think carefully. This is a new world, an uncertain world, but Jamaica stands on its 2 feet, erect and proud. We will secure our economic independence. And I want every Jamaican to appreciate that. So yes, it is uncertain time. But we have done the necessary work. We have built the relationships. We have placed ourselves in strategic positions to be heard and to be heard from and to be consulted. When these changes are going to happen, we know that they could have long-term impact. We started planning long ago. So when you don't hear me say and run out and make statement, because you have a government that is thinking very carefully, very strategically. I play chess, not draft. So to our manufacturers, before I say that, maybe a decade ago, the word disruptive would have been an inherently bad thing. In today's world, you require disruption of systems for there to be innovation and new opportunities. So whilst we see the downside of the disruptive global order that we have now, we are not going to sit by and wait. There are opportunities that must be had. There are prospects to be uncovered. And so I urge my manufacturers, my business people, before you start to look at the negative, also look for the opportunities. Don't just sit down and say, complain about all the things that's going on and all the things that's going bad, expecting that government is going to solve all the problems for you. Be the entrepreneur. Be the one who is the risk taker. Be the one who is looking for the opportunity. So I say to my manufacturers, my exporters, yes, there may be some dislocation. Government will work with you to mitigate, but look for the opportunities. So to our manufacturers and exporters gathered here tonight, your effort represents the heart of our economic progress. Your resilience, innovation, and entrepreneurial courage have carried brand Jamaica to every corner of the globe. As Prime Minister, I commit to ensuring our policies and initiatives remain aligned with your ambitions, creating an enabling environment that fosters investment, innovation, and global competitiveness. Together, we will strengthen our local economy and solidify Jamaica's position on the international stage. Expo Jamaica is a vivid showcase of Jamaica's boundless potential. So as we advance global partnerships and create impactful local results, let us reaffirm our collective determination to build a prosperous, productive Jamaica that leaves no one behind. Congratulations to everyone involved in this extraordinary event. Thank you for your continued belief in our shared Jamaican dream. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and pleasure to officially declare Expo Jamaica 2025 open. Thank you.
Strategic leadership, ingenuity, growth, and resilience. Prime Minister Holness, thank you so much for your inspiring words and stewardship as Jamaica continues on this growth path and really excelling on the global stage. I have with me on stage the JMEA Executive Director, Ms. Kamisha Blake, the very hard-working Kamisha Blake, on stage for a special presentation to the Prime Minister. And I'll invite him to come back and accept. I like how the PM picked that up really fast. It's somewhere in Portland, you know? He knows his island home, you know? Really beautiful. All right. I have a quick housekeeping announcement. The final buyer shuttle bus that leaves the Expo will do so at 8:50 this evening. That's 10 minutes to 9 for those buyers who have been using that shuttle. The final shuttle leaves at 8:50. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for, the official opening of Expo Jamaica 2025. And to mark this occasion, we invite you, a select group of persons, to make your way to the entrance for the ribbon cutting ceremony. So those persons who are involved in the ceremony, you already know yourselves, and the photographers will also obviously capture that. The Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable